Hi, I'm Preeti. Today I'm back with another accent wall design and build. It's the one right behind me. This is the existing wall. I forgot to take a picture before I painted it black. The wall was off-white with floral wallpaper border on the top. Okay, before we get started, make sure to hit that red subscribe button below so that you can stay up to date with my projects. I'm very excited for this particular build because this is my studio/workspace. This is the design I came up with. It has vertical shiplap that is divided equally by two horizontal pinode strips. Pinode accent really looks great on black background. I love the contrast with the wood grains. You'll see at the end. Okay, let's talk about the material. For this project, I'm using leftover shiplap from another project. It's 7¼ inch wide and ½ inch thick MDF shiplap with tongue and groove joints. I'm only using this cause I already had this in hand. Otherwise, I would have used 4x8 MDF sheet, cut them into strips and install them at equal distance using a spacer. Alright, step 1. Paint. First, paint the wall to the same color as your accent wall. This is something I learned from my previous accent wall build. If you have small gaps between your boards, the color of the wall behind will bleed through it. So it's always a good idea to paint the wall before installing. If you missed my bedroom accent wall build video, I will leave the link here so that you can watch how I install the chevron pattern on the wall. Step 2. I measured the wall size and noticed that it was not square. The baseboard was not on level either. Anyway, it was time to remove the baseboard at this point. Talking about the pattern on the wall, I'm breaking down this wall into 3 parts separated by a couple of 3x4 inch thick pine strips. So based on this, I calculated the board sizes and set a guide on my miter saw to cut. In total, I needed 26 numbers of 30-inch long boards and 13 numbers of 34-inch boards. The long boards are for the bottom row as the extra length will hide behind the baseboard. That was a lot to cut, but luckily I loved doing it. After cutting, I sanded all the boards to prep the surface for painting. Next, I cut the pinode strips. They need to be the same thickness as these shiplap boards. So I used a scrap board to set the distance on my table saw and cut the pine strips. I wiped off all the dust from the boards, primed with shellac-based primer and painted with 2 coats of carbon black in matte finish. Now let's get ready to install. To secure the boards to the wall, I'm going to use 18 gauge brad nails and construction adhesive. In addition, you will need a 4 feet and a 2 feet leveler to make sure the boards are square with each other. First, I found the wall stud locations and marked them. Then measured 30 inches from top to mark the location of the first horizontal strip. Then I installed the pine strip to the studs by checking the level. Next, I can start installing the shiplap boards. To do this, I'm going to start from my right. So I pre-cut the end boards to a straight edge, painted the edge black, and installed on the wall. The first board is very critical. If you get it wrong, everything could go wrong. So check level and fix the board. Then continue installing the remaining boards. I made a few spaces with scrap board to help me get an even gap between the boards during the install. Usually, I would recommend starting the install from the center so that you will get equal boards on either sides. Since we are using tongue and groove boards, the end boards will become hard to fix. So I started from one end of the wall and continued to fix the boards until I got to the other end. The last board alone will be cut according to the remaining space. But if you want, you can also do some pre-calculations to get equal size boards on both ends. It's totally up to you though. Isn't this very satisfying to watch? Even though it's exhausting, I feel motivated and proud to see how everything is coming together. After 2 rows were done, I installed the second pine strip and installed the bottom row of shiplap. Right now, only the last column is remaining, so I measured the size and cut the edge off before installing the board. Finishing touches. Next, I filled all the nail holes, sanded and cleaned the dust for painting. I first did a touch-up on the edges using a brush and then painted the entire surface with a final coat of paint. While that dries, I also painted a 3/4 inch white trim piece that I'm going to use to cover up the open end of the accent wall. I also painted the baseboard black. I then installed the baseboard first and fixed the side trim. It's all done and here's how it looks. Don't you think it's a stunning background for making videos? Hope you guys liked it. If so, please hit that like button below and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Tata bye bye, see you.